What's up, everyone? Michael Manatskanin here for a freaking awesome live session with you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about building your ideal habits for whatever your overall goals are. We're going to talk about it in the context of the 990 challenge, which has been inspired by my mentor, Pace Morby. This is something that he does regularly every single year. He loves to focus on it during the last quarter of the year because the last quarter is the most difficult, honestly, to build any habits between holidays. We got a bunch of candy and Halloween. We got Thanksgiving. We got Christmas. We got the last week going into the new year. A lot of things that can come up and make it very challenging to build your new habits, which is even more the reason why it's important to start doing some of this work now so you can hit the ground running in the new year. So this is something that my mentor, Pace Morby, has inspired me to do myself, something I know that he's done for several years in a row. And it's something that I want to incorporate, and I want to share it with you guys as well. This is not some secret strategy that you should not benefit from. Really quickly, if you want to get some of the tools and resources that I'm providing for this training, what you'll need to do is, let me show you what you'll need to do is go to my Instagram. Let me show you what you can do. If you just go to my Instagram, I made a post about this. So if you're not following me on Instagram, very easy, Michael MNAT. Oops. I've got a lot of free tools and resources for you just in this link. So you can get all the free courses, tools, resources, all this other good stuff that I'm always sharing. You can get access to that. If you go to this link and you just drop a comment in here, you drop the word habit, I will share with you not only a recording of this video, but all the tools and resources I'm providing to help you be able to create and execute on your 990 challenge. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the 990 challenge, the whole goal is to build your ideal habits. So it does not matter what anyone else is doing. It does not matter what the perfect route is today. What you want to do is just build the habits that you want that will then lead you to your ideal habits. How do I phrase that better? Like, everyone wants you got to think of your overall goal and then what it would take to get there. So if you want to be super ripped, for example, you're going to need to eat better and work out, right? So there's two different habits you have to focus on, and understanding that by the time the 90-day challenge is up, your habit will probably be at a more advanced level than where you're at currently. What you're currently focused on is just developing the consistency, the skill set that you need to consistently just do the thing. And then you're improving it throughout that journey. So what you'll see is, in my 90-day challenge, each month for the majority of these, there are incremental increases in difficulty. So the first month, a lot of times, is what's the basic so that I can build this habit consistently. And then we're going to make it more difficult or make it at a higher frequency, which makes it more difficult as we move along the challenge, because I'm not going from zero working out, nothing at all, to 7 days a week, hour and a half of working out plus walking plus, it's like, well, that's going to be really hard. It's a lot of habits to build. So how do you incrementally get there? If you don't work out at all, your first thing is just to show up and go on a walk for 10, 15 minutes, whatever your next step is. Whereas for me, if I'm someone who works out, but not very regularly or doesn't do enough walking, right, it's where I'm starting at and the next level up on my path to the overall goal. So make a little bit more sense. Well, it should make a lot more sense when I show you those specific goals and those habits. The biggest takeaway is these are your habits. Like, I don't really care what you want to do. A lot of mine are going to be a healthy mix of health and professional habits. For some of you, you might be great professionally or financially. What you want to focus on is prioritizing your family or your relationships because you're not doing that very well. Well, I feel pretty good in that area within my life. I feel pretty solid about that component. I'm incorporating some better health habits as well as a few more professional habits that I want to be held accountable to. Not that I'm not doing a lot of these things, but I want to consistently do them and massively grow and improve the quality in which I'm doing those. So I'm going to share with you kind of the overall 9 key topics. You may not do 9 topics. You may not focus on 9 habits. That's totally understandable. Focus on no more than 9 and make sure it's things that you actually care about. Don't do things because I'm doing it. Don't, or if you care about the overall topic, but if I'm trying to gain muscle, while getting leaner at the same time. Maybe that's not your overall goal. Maybe yours is weight loss. Like, everyone's different. So make sure the habits make sense for you. The idea is to give you the general overview that I have, plus what I'm specifically going to be working on, plus the tools and resources I'm using to help myself stay on track and stay consistent, as well as how I am making it very costly for me to fail. Because for some people, that's what you got to do. You got to make it a fairly expensive, fairly hard lesson if you don't execute, right? And you may or may not do that. You may do it, but on a different scale. It's all ultimately up to you what you want to do. So the goal, start with choosing habits that you actually care about, then focus on consistency, and then focus on improving what you're doing. I'm not one to say, right, 0 to 100 day one. That's how most people fail all of their habits. The goal is to just focus on doing the thing consistently. If you're not working out, like I said, maybe your first thing is, I need to start walking. I need to go to a gym, right? Just physically be in a gym, right? That's one of the hardest parts, is physically to get yourself there. That is the goal you're focused on right now in the first phase when you're building. Then the goal is to improve your overall results while you're doing that thing. Maybe you're walking, now you're going to walk faster. You're going to walk with weight. You're going to walk for longer. You're going to now jog every once in a while. Or you're going to the gym and you're just showing up and you're standing there for 15 minutes. Well, like most people who do that, they get bored and start working out and trying things, right? But it's do the habit, then improve it so you can be more, not just consistent now, but to actually get the most results with your time that you're spending there. Like I said, showing up tends to be the hardest part for the majority of people, just doing the thing at some minimum level. So that should be your goal. And understand that less than 10% of people who build new habits at the start of the year actually stick with it throughout the year. A lot of people overwhelm themselves with too many habits or too aggressive of a goal. Like I said, never working out to being in a gym 7 days a week. Well, in my opinion, it's better to build your momentum with easy wins by showing up and doing the thing, right? Just be at the gym 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever, and then scale your way to working out for 45 minutes to an hour, to mixing in 7 days a week of working out between running and weightlifting. Make it actually logical. The worst thing you could do in your path to building habits is to destroy your momentum early on. You don't want to prove to yourself that once again, you cannot execute this habit. For the majority of people, myself included, none of these are necessarily new habits. These are not new things that like you just all of a sudden randomly wanted to accomplish today out of nowhere. You've probably been thinking about a lot of these things and you've probably already started doing some of the work towards some of these things. You just haven't been able to sustain it long enough or get it to the level that you want. So it's better, instead of proving yourself right that you're going to mess it all up, it's better to prove yourself right that you can build the easy wins, stack on that, build the momentum, and then take it to the next level. Don't shoot yourself in the foot right from the start is my main takeaway. The reason why I tell people, I think a huge factor in my ability to have achieved financial freedom through real estate investing, to have acquired over $25 million of real estate in 5 years, that generates more than enough money every single month to pay for my wife and I to never have to work again, is because my goal was 5 properties in 5 years. I didn't know it was going to be closer to 100 in 5 years. My goal was 5 properties in 5 years, 1 property a year. That was much more realistic for where I was starting out. My goal was 100 property in 5 years. I may not have ever even taken the action needed because I was overwhelming myself from the beginning. So if your goals are realistic and tangible, you start making progress. Understand that that's part of your goal towards the major goal that you want. You got to build the momentum and the habits to get to that point. All right. So some of these health and professional habits we're going to talk about. Eat your way, develop your fitness habit, address your deficiencies, prioritize sleep, add or remove a habit, daily business priority, spread your gratitude, build your network, and then social media and brand. This is, for the majority of people, all of these would be beneficial. Doing all of these, or the majority of these, will be beneficial regardless of what your focus is, whether you're a real estate investor, whether it's professional, whether it's whatever, because these habits are the underlying habits for your health, which plays such a huge role in every part of your professional and just kind of your overall picture. Plus, the professional stuff is very targeted to have you focus on the most important thing that you've identified within your business, the thing you need to do the most of, as well as sharing gratitude with people and building your network and reestablishing relationships and growing your network with new people. And social media / focusing on your brand is massive for the majority of people, right? It's not for everyone. You have to understand if there's a benefit for you to focus on social media. For me, it's very strategic. I'm not doing social media because I love creating content. That's not at all what I do. It's very intentional because I want to help other people on their journey, their investing journey, their path to financial freedom. Social media allows me to spread my message much wider and at the same time, as someone who buys real estate, someone who raises money for real estate investments, someone who's growing my team, social media, brand awareness, visibility, more people that know who I am can partner with me and bring funding, partner with me and work within my business, bring me more deal flow, all of these various things, including spreading my message of why I believe the Super Investor Blueprint is the best path for the majority to achieve financial freedom through real estate. That's all of that is collectively done through social media. Have a reason for it. If you're a real estate investor, at minimum, that visibility, deal flow, team members, capital partners, right? Like that could be a major benefit for you. So I've raised all of my money as well. To build my $25 million portfolio, I needed $6 million of other people's money to then build that portfolio. And that came through putting myself out there. Oops. So eat your way. What does this mean? So eat your way means eat whatever diet that makes the most sense for you. Like I said, some people are focused on building muscle. Some people are focused on getting leaner. Some people are focused on reducing body fat. Like, I don't know. Everyone's different depending on your life and all that kind of stuff. Like, my focus is continue to build more muscle while also getting leaner. The way that I'm going to do that, the way that I've decided to move forward with that is by increasing my protein intake and lowering my carbs. I'm going to make sure that I'm near my daily intake like goal for calories, just a little bit underneath it. So I'm losing a little bit of weight, but the majority of my calories will come from protein and less carbs. Like, that's the main shift I'm going to make. What I'm going to try to build a habit is tracking my eating, right? What am I eating? Just documenting what am I eating? What are the calories and macros associated with that? And tracking my weight weekly to see what the progress looks like. I'm not anticipating losing much weight. That's not the goal, especially because muscle tends to weigh more than fat. So I might be the same weight, if not a little bit more. I'll probably lose weight. Personally, I got some chubby fat to lose over the next. So I'll probably lose weight, but it's really, how does it look aesthetically? And am I building muscle and getting stronger throughout this journey, which is the next phase, which will be more of the gym stuff. So month 1, to make it easy, to make it as easy as possible for me, no processed foods. I'm not eating. I don't even care if it's protein chips or whatever. I'm only eating whole foods. Nothing's processed, only whole foods, and no late night munchies. That's fairly straightforward. For most people, going the no route is easier than adding stuff initially or making massive changes. So just saying, I'm not eating chips or processed foods, I'm not eating those cookies or whatever, even with a lot of stuff coming up, that's going to be tough over the next 90 days. No processed food, no late night munchies, right? That's when the chips and the cookies and the ice cream and all that stuff starts to creep into your life, is late at night. Well, I'm not going to be eating late at night, right? I'm not eating later in the day. And at the same time, a couple no things, right? No processed food, no late night munchies. So don't eat too late. I'm also going to start tracking my calories, my macros, and my weight, as well as taking photos of this journey. Month 2, I'm going to level it up by reducing my carb and fat intake to 293 grams of carbs, 72 grams of fat. And then month 3, I'm going to focus on getting a very high protein diet, which is very tough for some people to do. To add a lot of protein, it's going to be tough to do for some people to eat for what I'm looking for. The typical ratio is 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So I'm going to start with a goal of 180 grams of protein and reassess. So to start off, my number one goal is to track my eating and my weight, right? And take photos, document this process, track it. I'm going to start making progress towards my goal immediately by not eating any processed foods and not having late night munchies, right? Minimizing that while tracking. Month 2, I'm going to make it more difficult by reducing my carb and fat intake. And month 3, I'm going to really push towards a protein goal that I'm going to try to achieve every single month. Tools that I'm going to use for this process. Well, AthleanX is a awesome online tool that can help you estimate your macros and your calorie intake based on some very simple information: gender, age, weight, what my goals are, right? To gain muscle, not really lose a bunch of weight, but to gain muscle, this is what it recommends. My calorie intake, protein, carbs, and fat, that's where these numbers come from, right? That's where they come from. But I'm not going to try to get to this every single day, day one. So I'm not even tracking what I'm eating. So the number one thing for me to focus on right now is a calorie tracker app. Pace recommends CalAI, which is an AI supported calorie tracker app. It's easier to talk to, and it's easier for these custom types of meals, because like these are my goals. Because for me, I already eat 2 servings of veggies with every single meal. I primarily eat raw foods, but sometimes I will add processed foods as a cheat snack, cravings, whatever. So for me, it's not that hard I pretty much eat a protein, a small portion of carbs, like rice, pasta, whatever, with a decent amount of protein, salmon, beef, chicken, turkey, whatever, and then eat 2 or more veggies with every single meal. So it's not going to be that crazy for me. For you, it might just literally be eat 2 veggies a day. Like I primarily eat fruits, veggies, ideally complex carbohydrates, and a decent amount of protein. What's going to be the hardest for me is to eat more and more regularly. This is actually going to be the hardest for me because I'm very good at cutting out the things I don't care to eat. I've gotten pretty good at that over the last couple of years. So for me, but what I don't do is track. So that's going to be a big one for me, is tracking. That's why it's part of my initial habits. It's easier for me to say no to this stuff, but this is going to be a very hard piece, is the tracking component. Then we're going to add, right? We're going to be more intentional about the carbs and fat, and then build on the protein. That's going to be the hardest part for me, to eat enough times a day and enough protein per meal to get there. All right. Next is develop your fitness. This is different for everyone. Like I said, for you, you might literally do nothing physically, and you might just need 10 minutes of walking a day or whatever it looks like. For me, it's important to track my exercises and my weightlifting progress. Collectively, I'm also taking photos weekly of this journey when I'm tracking my weight between my health and my fitness goals. So month 1, 7 days a week, any exercise at all. 45 minutes, any exercise, whether it's walking, running, weightlifting, that hits my goal. I'm going to physically do something 45 minutes a day, every single day. This is important for me as someone who does weightlift, sometimes runs, definitely walks. I cannot say with certainty that every single day I'm doing something physical. Some days it's been a very not physical day. I've been sitting here working. I've crammed my day full with work and then family and whatever, that I have not done anything for my physical health. Well, every single day, my goal is to do 45 minutes of any type of physical exercise. By month 2, right, starting day 31, 32, whatever, daily exercise. So it's not just the walking. That's no longer counting as my exercise. It has to be running or lifting. So 7 days a week, I'm either running or lifting. One of those. Ideally, a good split for me is working out 4 to 5 times a day, weightlifting, and then 2 to 3 times a week running, right? That's kind of the ideal split for me personally. And then by month 3, I want to incorporate my daily exercise in conjunction, like in addition to walking at least 6,000 steps a day. That'll be a lot easier on the days that I'm running. It's almost a 2-for-1, but there's also the exercise days. So it's the walking and the exercise collectively is my month 3 target, right? So my goal is to work out every day and walk 6,000 steps. Well, I know if my goal is to do that starting today, it's more likely not going to happen. It's going to be very difficult to build towards that, because that's at least 2 hours a day, 1.5 hours a day going towards that. Well, it'll be easier for me to achieve that goal and hit the ground running in the new year if I've built my way up to that point, instead of trying to do all of it at once from the very beginning. Understand this. This is literally every part of your life. Like if you're starting at 0 and you're trying to execute this, going from 0 to this immediately is why you more likely fail. Why I failed trying to do too much too quickly. Or if you can do it for a short enough period of time, you haven't built the habit long enough that it's very easy to completely throw you off track and restart. The best thing you can do if you mess up is just restart, move on. You make a mistake, don't make it again the next day, right? It's very imperative you think with that mindset, but also don't stretch yourself too much trying to build a habit. If you're starting from 0 and you're trying to go for your level 10 goal results, build your way there. This is my version of that. Tool. So I use the Caliber app to track my exercises. I can track if I'm running, if I'm walking. I can build my own workouts in there, like weightlifting. This is where I primarily track my weightlifting plus additional workouts. They also have pre-built workouts, but I just put in my own. If you need help on building your own exercise or diet plan, like talk to professionals, talk to ChatGPT, give them a pretty good idea of what you're looking for. Plenty of resources and tools online. Like, I'm not here to provide you a custom workout plan. That's not my thing, right? I'll give you a custom real estate investing plan, but not a workout plan. And then for my steps, it's on the Apple app. Like, I have my phone usually on me, and especially when I'm walking, on my phone on me. And so this is something that I'm really focused on. A big part about walking, to understand why it's still important for me, in addition to exercise, is I feel like walking plays one of two key roles in my life. It allows me the opportunity to walk and clear my brain for 30-ish minutes, enjoy nature, just clear my brain, be more creative and all that good stuff. Or when I am distracted, I'm either distracted creating content while I'm walking, which is a great 2-for-1, or even better, I take my baby and we go on walks together. So it's like there's the exercise, which I do independently, but then there's the walking, which is great for my mental clarity, content creation, which comes from more of that mental clarity and focus, or walking with my baby, which I love doing as well in the mornings or evenings. So that's kind of why I also incorporate walking to my overall exercise. For me personally, just have a reason for what you're focused on. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to maintain it. The third one is address your deficiencies. You probably already know that there is something that you should do more of. Like, what are you deficient in what you're intaking in your body? Or you can leverage blood work to determine what is it that you're missing, right? Like, where nutritionally, what are you missing? You have a better idea of what you're missing, but for the majority of people, it's a combination of some of these, one of these, all of these. Daily creatine, if you're focused on weightlifting, it's one of those things that I see all over the place about how great it is for you. I take creatine every once in a while, or I take it consistently now, but I've gone through it in bursts when I was just working out. Now I take it as a daily supplement. Drink more water. I mean, if anyone had to prioritize one, you probably need to drink more water early and all throughout the day and at larger quantities. And then vitamins. This is where the blood work is great. It'll tell you what you should focus on, typically where you're deficient. As someone who's worked in the medical field, who's got an environmental and medical background and worked with lots of doctors and medical professionals, I will say a lot of medical professionals and high-level research studies like at Stanford don't really believe in this very much. They don't believe so much in the blood work to identify deficiencies and then over-supplement yourself. What they say is the best way to get there is through raw and whole foods, eat right, and the majority of Americans already get the vitamins that they need. When I lived in Alaska, we needed vitamin D because we didn't have a lot of sunlight. So like places that, have certain things that make it less likely to get that vitamin naturally, well, you might need to supplement it. Say the medical professionals primarily say it's not needed. If there's certain things that you want to take, go for it. I'm not here to advocate for any or all of this, except you probably need to drink more water. For me, my daily creatine and then 8-ounce cups of water a day, so half a gallon. Month 2, increase that to 3/4 of a gallon, right? It's easy to say I'm going to drink a gallon of water, but it's not realistic to implement that consistently and to ensure that I'm doing it consistently. So that's why I'm progressing forward with increasing my water intake each month to make it more difficult, with the ideal goal of getting close to 1 gallon of water intake a day, right? So it's 8-ounce cups is not exactly half a gallon, but it's pretty close to it. Increase that to 12 cups of water, or like 1 or 2 of these jugs. I don't know how much water this is, but it's a good amount of water. And then get to 1 gallon of water per day. So for tracking this, like, you could get really granular. There's apps to track this kind of stuff. I'm not overly worried about tracking this. I will take my creatine daily to check it off, and I will know how many of these bottles I got to drink per day, or bottles like this per day of water. If I achieve that goal, great. If not, well, I'm drinking a lot of water at night, which means I'm waking up and going to the bathroom a lot, but that is my fault, and I will get it done every single day without question, even if it means I have to cram it at the end of the day. It means I got to go on a walk and cram a bunch of water in the last 30 minutes of the night. That's what I got to do. Funny enough, the next one is prioritizing your sleep. So as a rule of thumb, you should try to sleep at least 6 hours per night. Like, ideally, you try to, everyone's got a different life and whatever. People have different sleep needs. My wife needs more sleep than myself. My mentor Pace needs less sleep than I do. My sweet spot is around 7 to 8 hours. My wife, she likes at least 8 hours. Pace, his sweet spot is 6 to 7 hours. You have to understand what your overall sleep requirement is and then try to meet that every single night. And most importantly, track that. So my goal, sleep at least 6 hours per night and track that. That's fairly easy because I don't go to sleep super late. And, I have the flexibility to wake up anytime that I want, but we also have a baby and, I've got work stuff like this, obligations. So I'm typically up no later than 7, if not 6 or earlier, which means I just got to be in bed no later than 11 or even noon or midnight or 11, and I'll hit my goals. For me right now, 6 hours per night, it's not really something I'm overly worried about achieving, but it's also tracking that. When it becomes an issue is when I have some work that is bled over or things that I want to do or distractions. Sometimes you're doing so good, right, with your habits, but like you, like me, sometimes it all becomes a little overwhelming and you want an opportunity to binge out and stay up and eat junk and watch TV and whatever. And that tends to happen later at night and the time really quickly can bleed away. Or I binge out and work sometimes too late at night. I'm tinkering or improving or whatever, creating more education stuff for people, whatever. And then it's quickly 12, 1 or 2. And I'm realizing, oh my God, I sat here, I did the nighttime routine with the family and all that. They went to sleep. And then I sat here and worked for another 3 hours because I truly enjoy this stuff. But now it's too late and I'm not going to be able to get my sleep unless I stay asleep till 7, 8, 9. This happens regularly. I just hosted an in-person event, had a lot of last minute changes. I was sleeping closer to 1 or 2 and then waking up around 6 or 7, typically around 6, then get the day going for that in-person event. So 6 hours per night and track that consistently. That's the number one goal. So no late, stay up, whatever. Month 2, it's developing a better sleep habit. So asleep by 10 p.m., ideally in bed by 9, and no devices after 8 p.m. If that's the case, that means as long as I sleep until 4 a.m., if I'm asleep by 10, sleep until 4 a.m., I've achieved my goal. And ideally 5 or 6, now I'm talking about 7 or 8 hours every single night. And then month 3, I want to just expand on my sleep and wake up routines. So when I go to sleep, these are the things that I do that are very beneficial for me, right? Let me brain dump and clear some stuff that's on my head. Let me, like I said, no devices after 8. Maybe I pull that forward. No eating after 6. Develop a better sleep routine before going to sleep and a wake up routine. This is exactly what I do as soon as I wake up because this is the ideal situation for me. This is the way I want to start my day. For me, primarily, writing, brain dumping is a great thing to do, prioritizing certain tasks, getting some movement in, whether it's walking or working out. This will be building into that really effective routine. And it's going to be very important because I'm trying to walk and exercise, right? Both in a single day. Well, I'm going to need to make time out of somewhere. The time is going to come from wasting less time in the evenings and waking up earlier and being more efficient with the time that I do have available, right? We all have 24 hours in a day. The difference is how you use them. I will say, I believe that to like a 95% extent, right? But understand that the more money you have, the more you can pay for people to do certain things for you. So you can focus on the things that matter to you most. You cannot have someone work out for you, but they can create a really great workout routine. Or, you might need to spend an hour or 2 cooking or shopping and cooking where you can just pay service providers to do that kind of stuff for you, right? Deliver your groceries and or meal prep for you, whatever. That creates more time, but that's not feasible for the majority, right? That's one way to create time through leverage, but easier said than done, especially because that always comes at a financial cost. But the idea is you can use that time to do better things with your time. That money to pay to free up your time to do better things with that time, ideally to make you even more money or focus on things you care about. So that's my prioritize my sleep. The app that I use is Sleep Cycle. Very simple. I use the free version of basically everything. I plug it in. I click, here's the time I want to wake up typically. Here's the time I want to go to sleep. It has my goals. I just click start and it tracks my sleep. This is not my actual sleep. I don't know whose sleep this is. But it tracks the sleep. It doesn't just track what time I go to sleep when I wake up, but like how my sleep went, tracks snoring and noise and all that kind of stuff. And it tries to do its best to track, how effective your sleep was. And you can set it. So instead of setting an alarm for 6 a.m., it sets it for 15 or 30 minutes before 6. And it's waiting until you're in a good sleep period to try to slowly wake you up. So like today, I woke up like 5:45 because I thought that was better. It was a good time for me to wake up. And I was already awake when I woke up, essentially. Like it tries to track that stuff. Now we got 2 for 1 on this page. add or remove a habit, right? So just choose a habit that you think you should add or remove from your daily routine. You probably have something on your mind that you've been thinking of for a very long time that you want to start doing or stop doing. I wouldn't overly focus on the diet stuff if you're already incorporating that elsewhere, like as part of your diet. I love the one for reading. Pace mentioned that him and his wife are going to read for 15 minutes a night, every night together. For me, a habit that I have consistently dealt with my entire life, but in periods in which it hasn't been a big issue, is nail biting. It is just this gross habit that it's like an automatic thing that I do now. And after seeing my baby put her fingers in her mouth, maybe imitating me, it's kind of made me realize above everything else, besides the health reasons and all that, and how it looks, I hate the way it looks, and I hate feeling self-conscious about it. I'm going to stop biting my nails. So for this, I'm putting a rubber band back on my wrist, which is what I used to do. Every time I get close to it or think about it, I smack myself. And that works for me. I don't know what's going to work for you. I don't know what habit you care about, but that works for me. That's a habit I truly care about aesthetically. And I do, like, your kids won't learn from what you tell them to do. So if I tell her to stop biting her nails, she's not going to listen. She will learn from what I'm actually doing. So I'm a hypocrite, and I'm the one teaching her how to bite her nails if I'm biting my nails. If I want her to stop, I can't tell her. I have to stop doing it myself, especially with her baby boy on the way. And as they get older, they're going to see this more and more regularly. I want to stop this now, and it'll make me feel a lot better overall, so that I'm not self-conscious about my nails and I'm shaking hands or meeting people, because it is something that causes me like feelings of insecurity, but it's in my own control. But psychologically, subconsciously, I'm just doing it as a reaction to stress, and I've been doing it forever and all that. Well, no more. This is a habit that I'm focused on. Daily business priority. This is where we start getting into some more of that business stuff, or you're at a habit, could be business. Like, all of this could have been business for you. This one is being specific and granular about what is the one thing you need to do every single day that moves your business forward. For real estate investors, people who already have enough knowledge, you probably just need to be making more offers. But you can't make an offer unless you're analyzing deals. So if you're not analyzing deals, you need to make sure you're analyzing one deal a day. If you don't have enough deals to analyze, you need to get more deal flow so you can analyze those deals. If you don't even understand this stuff or anything I'm saying, you probably need to learn more, and you need to dedicate some of your time and energy into learning. But ideally, don't spend 3 months, an hour a day learning. Complement the learning with actual action and execution, right? And move up that path. So for real estate, for me, it's very easy, right? Like, you got to understand what you're looking for, where to find it, get enough deal flow, analyze those deals, make offers on those deals. For anything that's accepted, put under contract, like all that good stuff. So for me, for the real estate side, it's make one offer on a co-living deal daily. That's my minimum goal. I would also say there's a couple other things here for me, which is connect with potential capital partners one a day. So I have a 30-minute connection with one of my existing or future capital partners every single day over the next 90 days. That's 90 people that have or could invest in one of my future deals. That'd be another great one if that was my priority. Right now, I've got more than enough capital ready to go for the variety of deals that we're looking at. So whatever that looks like for you, get granular on it. Mine even is fairly broad. You can get even more specific on yours. But what is the one thing that you're not doing that will take your business to the next level, that will actually generate you real results, right? This collectively is building your network between spreading your gratitude and building your network intentionally. I'm tracking all of this stuff very simply through a Google spreadsheet. Nothing crazy, right? Spreading your gratitude is texting 2 different people every single day, letting them know you're grateful for them for whatever reason. It could be a simple, hey, just wanted to let you know I am grateful for you. Thank you for XYZ. I see what you're doing. Whatever it is, any form of gratitude to any 2 people every single day, different people every single day. By the time 90 days is up, you've told 180 people that you're grateful for them. I would start with some of your top priority people, maybe those that are the closest to you or have impacted you the most, and then continue on the path of those that have impacted you, like maybe separate from family and friends, have impacted you professionally, people you want to build more relationship with, even new people, whatever it is. Share your gratitude with people. By the time it's said and done, you're going to feel way better, because when you practice gratitude, it's just a great feeling overall for yourself and for the people that you're applying your gratitude towards. You're going to feel better in general. They're going to feel better. You're going to improve your relationship. And then they will also it leads to a lot of professional benefits in the long term as well. Just telling people how grateful you are, because very few people will ever do that, let alone consistently to lots of people. And then building your network. So just focus on creating one new professional connection every single day. This does not have to be something crazy, right? It's just one new connection every single day. Like I said, for me, capital partners, people who have deals, people who provide like traditional loans, like DSCR loans, people who do management or invest or own in the markets that I'm in, people that I could add to my team as I'm interviewing, right? Like when I'm connecting with potential executive assistants. Build a professional connection every single day. If you're putting yourself out there publicly and sharing your link to connect, and you're just setting one spot a day, you should have no problem filling that up. Once again, it starts with visibility, which is why the social media piece, overall visibility, is such a big focus. It's very easy, right? Spread your gratitude. Very simple spreadsheet. Every single day, the 2 people, the 2 names, there you go. Build your network. Who's the person you connected with? What was some results of that connection? Adding or removing a habit. Did you do the thing or did you not do the thing? Daily business priority. Did you do the thing? Did you not do the thing? Very simple on a spreadsheet. If you guys want the tools that will accompany all this for at least my 9 habits, you got to go to the Instagram reel, drop the word, I think, habits, whatever in there, and I will make sure to send it your way. Otherwise, I don't know who's watching and who needs this stuff. So you got to let me know. Also, you join my free Wealth to Real Estate School community, and you'll also get access to that. So you're saying, what is that? What is your Wealth to Real Estate School community? Well, it's a free community that has tons of trainings, tools, and resources to help you on your real estate investing journey. All the things I wish I knew 7 years ago when I started learning about real estate investing, 5 years ago, right before I bought my first deal, and then bought my first deal. And a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last couple of years to be able to scale and achieve the amount of results that I have in the time that I've been able to do so, because my results in my timeline are pretty crazy compared to the majority. However, a lot of this intentionality, consistency, habit building, and then improving the process every step of the way. So that's why every single person I'm able to help through my Super Investors community is able to achieve significant results in a much shorter time frame, because they have all these steps laid out in front of them. So I just dropped all that in here. All right. So in social media or brand, like I mentioned, this has a huge impact for everything. And even tracking this journey for you, right? I'm kind of doing that through this video right now, but like sharing this stuff is going to be fundamental for you to put your goals out there, but also to track your progress, and in general for improving your ability to get more inputs, to get more leads in the various aspects of your business. Like I said, for real estate investors, deals, team members, capital partners are kind of the main 3 things you're focused on. For me, as someone who's also an educator, mentor, whatever in this space, it's also potential clients in Super Investors, my paid mentorship community, or all the free stuff that I'm putting out there in my free Wealth to Real Estate community, right? So all of that is done through consistently posting content. This can be some of that content. However, don't do what most people do, which is where they put all their goals out there. They get some dopamine hit because people know what their goals are, but they're not actually making the progress that they need to, because they got the instant dopamine of sharing goals, but they're not actually doing it, right? Like if you're going to put it on there, just understand that's common, that people will post their goals. These are my resolutions, but then won't follow through because they just got the dopamine hit from sharing this stuff with everyone instead of just doing the damn thing. So your main focus is do the thing, then share about it, but share whatever you need to in general. My goals specifically are focused on consistently doing the thing and then improving the quantity and the quality as I go. So month 1, post anything online one time per day. So there's plenty of times where I'm not posting anything anywhere on any platform at all for a full day or 2, depending on what I'm doing. And I do some pretty cool stuff and I'm just not sharing it. So the goal is post at least 1 time per day on any platform, any type of content, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, my free Wealth to Real Estate School community. I'm not going to include Super Investors. That's, more exclusive community on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, X, whatever. Like post one piece of content, with the majority of my focus being on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That's kind of the main area, main content platforms that I focus on, and I repurpose that content elsewhere. A big part of this too is, instead of posting in real time per day, I want to develop the skill of pre-planning content and having it ready to go for specific days. That'd be an awesome accomplishment by the end of 30 days, in addition to actually posting every single day. A lot of people really like posting in real time during the day. They've gotten very good at it. Pace is very good at that. For me, I feel like it's very inefficient to do that. I think it takes me too long to just create content live and post it. That's what stops me a lot of the time. Where pre-planning some of this stuff will at least minimize the friction so that I can at least consistently post every day. Then I'll get better in creating content in real time and yada, yada. Month 2 on Instagram. Okay, the goal is to post at least one story. So that's what my followers see, and one reel or piece of content daily. So that's what followers see, but also new people will see that. So put myself out there consistently with the people that are already following me, know of me, want to hear more or learn more about my journey, as well as get more people into the fold, building my brand overall, building my brand awareness overall. I'm also going to leverage tools like Vista Social and vidIQ to track some of the social media data. Vista Social is kind of all of the social media stuff. There's various alternatives out there. I don't even know if this is the best one. It's the one that I'm using to track my progress on Instagram and all that other stuff, as well as it has some YouTube stuff in there. But vidIQ is my main one for YouTube. So how many videos did I put out? The total number of views people got. Like, it's got a lot of data in addition to the data provided for Instagram on Instagram, for YouTube on YouTube, right? It's like YouTube Studio, Instagram, like the professional page. All that stuff allows you to do this. So if I want to know if I made content, well, I could just look back at my calendar and see, did I post every single day on the social media channel? But then tracking it proactively is ideally the way to go. And then by month 3, now that I'm posting at least 2 pieces of content a day, a story and an actual piece of content, I want to add a weekly newsletter and be much better at reviewing the performance of my content so I could optimize my quality. What are the things that people are getting the most value from? How do I know that? Because they're liking it, they're sharing it, it's got a lot of views, whatever. How do I create more content that's like that, as opposed to just what I thought people would want? If you focus too much on what other people want too early, it's going to be very hard to get any form of consistency. The best way to do it, instead of trying to perfect it through market research and all this other stuff, is to just do the damn thing, see what works, and then improve from there, right? It's better to make those decisions based on your data, which is just do the thing. All right, so the overall goals, the 9 goals that you can choose one or none, whatever. Eat your way, right? Whatever your diet makes sense for you. Develop your fitness habit, address your deficiencies, prioritize your sleep, add or remove a habit, daily business priority, spread your gratitude, build your network and your social media and brand so you can build your overall awareness that benefits you massively in whatever. You can choose up to 9, all 9, whatever it looks like for you. Your homework is to select your 9 or less habits, commit to consistently doing the thing, track that through a nightly journal, reflection, your tracker, whatever, to track your progress. Especially journaling is a great habit to build alongside this. So maybe stop biting my nails and journaling, 2 habits, but like a recap, an end of day journaling session to say, how do I feel after completing all these habits? What was hard? What was easy? What am I looking to take to the next level? Journaling is a beautiful way to build your momentum as you're doing the things, or address why do you think you did not do the thing. As your habit builds, guide it towards your ideal outcome, your ideal scenario, right? We're not going to start from 0 working out to 7 days a week for an hour and a half, right? It's more likely not possible for the majority of people to do, let alone maintain that consistently. Start your habit, be consistent, and then scale it up, build it towards your ideal scenario. And if you're doing this stuff, whether it's one habit, or easy habit, it doesn't really matter. You're going to have 90 days of these habits before the New Year's, before everyone else even starts considering this kind of stuff. And you're going to have done it through the hardest quarter there is, the 4th quarter, because of all the holidays and time off and all that other stuff. So you're going to have so much momentum going into the new year. The thing that I will say is, if you fail, if you do not do something, the worst thing you could do is just continue not doing it. If I mess up my sleep and then I say, you know what, I'm done, I messed it up, I don't care anymore, that's the worst thing you could do, as opposed to just saying, okay, I messed up tonight, I'm going to do better tomorrow. What I am doing, what I see a lot of people recommend in particular is to, some form of accountability, whether it's another individual and increasing the stake of failure. So for me, what I'm personally going to do is, if I break any of these even one time over the next 90 days, I mean, I could end up messing up all these. I haven't even done some of these today. So If I mess up any of these at all, I'm donating $1,000 for each of these to one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, Stop Soldier Suicide. So for any single one of these I mess up is $1,000 I am donating to that organization. And I have an accountability buddy who will be checking in with each other weekly to make sure that we're making progress and sharing our trackers. For you, you might say $9,000, that's a lot of money. I'm going to donate a bunch. I donate a decent amount of money at the end of the year anyway. So for me, it's not the end of the world. It's something I truly care about. And it's something that I can align my goals to, because I know even if I mess up, it's going towards a good cause. For you, you might make a wager with your accountability partner. You'll give them $1,000, $500, $20. It doesn't really matter, but it has to be enough of a thing that you do not want to mess up. You do not want to lose, that it's enough to drive you, push you to accomplish these goals, but also has to be realistic that you can actually follow through with it if you mess up. You don't want to, and you might set better boundaries. You might say your goal is to eat your way 5 days a week, right? It may not be 7 days a week. It may be 3 days a week. Whatever it is, you have to set your own goals and what is your own level of accomplishment based on month by month and where you're currently at. And then what's at stake if you mess up, right? If you don't achieve your goals, like I said, the worst thing you could do is just completely stop focusing on that. You might recalibrate and say, hey, it's not the time for me to prioritize XYZ thing. But yeah, typically if you have some form of wager and some form of accountability, you're more likely to succeed in these goals. Not everyone needs that, or not everyone can financially afford to do that as well, but it increases your likelihood of succeeding. If all you do is post it on social media one time, you might get a dopamine hit and not do anything. There's no long-term afterwards of actually doing it, or anything that would drive some pain for you not to succeed, right? Like habits are like, these are all great. Everyone knows we should probably do almost all these things. The reality of it is it doesn't make it it makes it just a little bit easier once you document this kind of stuff, but then you have to actually do the thing, which is everyone knows, right? Like in theory, we know what we need to do to be shredded and have six packs and become millionaires. It's just hard to do all the habits consistently long enough, especially when it's boring, to do that on your path. So if you want a tracker, the tracker I'm going to be using to track a lot of the stuff, or you want if you want that kind of stuff, go to my Instagram, Michael MNAT, go to this post about habits, go ahead and comment on there, and I'll send you the tracker as well as this recording so that you can use that to at least hit the ground running for yourself. It may not be a full 90 days for you. It might be 89 days, 87 days, 85 days by the time you see this. Who cares? Your goal is to just build these habits. If you're 5 days short, it's better than never starting. The thing that holds most people back is they always want some form of perfectionism. They want the perfect time to start. They want the ideal scenario. Like none of that shit is real. Like there is no perfect anything. The perfect time is right now. Well, the perfect time was yesterday, right? It's too late for that. So the perfect time is right now, or as soon as you find this information to implement it. You don't need to wait until Monday of next week. You don't need to wait till January 1st. All that is just made up. I don't even know if propaganda is the right word. It's like made up limitations. You can literally start this stuff right away. And it's best to just start it as soon as you know that you want to do it and you start tracking, making progress, but do so realistically. Focus on goals and habits that you actually care about and do so logically. Progress towards your overall scenario. Try to get there from 0 to 1. You may or may not do it, and it'll be that much harder to maintain consistency. Focus on consistency and doing the thing, especially if it's new, and then leveling up every step of the way. Any questions about any of that? So, okay, Dallas asked about my coaching program for super investors. So on the bottom of the YouTube video, there's typically an application page that you can go into. Super Investors is primarily catered towards real estate investors that are actually looking to become financially free through real estate investing, and ideally in a very short time frame, right? I'm not saying it's get rich quick. That's not anything that I try to teach, but here are the strategies combining creative finance, capital raising, co-living that allows you to achieve your financial freedom goals with less properties in less time, using little to none of your own money so you can achieve financial freedom. If that is you and you are someone who wants to do that, and whether you're part of other investment or education and investment communities or not, and you have your active income needs met, more money coming in each month than you're spending, you have at least $20,000 of reserves set aside to build your real estate portfolio, and you're committed to take action now rather than waiting and spending way more time and money just by waiting or making, bad mistakes and high risk, then you can consider applying for super investors. If you need to figure out a way to start making $5,000 a month to pay your bills, like there's more active income things you should focus on. I provide all that for free for you anyway. If your goal is to focus on, if you have no money set aside, it's not the ideal situation for you to buy and hold real estate if you have no money, or to raise money from other investors if you have little to no money, because real estate, things come up, things happen, and you're going to need money to solve some problems. Even if you were able to raise the money to acquire it, maybe the renovation cost more, took longer, whatever, you guys might need to put more money in. If you cannot weather that storm, you're setting yourself and especially your capital partners up for failure. So those are kind of some of my requirements for that. If you have, the more money you start with, the more your active income needs are met, or your active income exceeds your expenses, the more real estate experience you have, the more quickly I can help you achieve your financial freedom goals. People who have $100,000+, we're able to get them multiple properties in a very short time frame, and they're starting to raise money, use 100% of other people's money very quickly to achieve all their goals, like very quickly. So the more of those things that you have, the easier your journey is. That's a reality. If you need to focus on your active income or other things, let me help you for free. I provide so much of that stuff away for free. So Dallas, go ahead and apply if you think you hit any of those qualifications, and we will see. We'll get an interview, and I have to interview you and you interview me to make sure this is all the right fit for everything we need to do. I don't need to grow my mentorship like insatiably. I care about bringing in the right people, helping them achieve their goals, and making sure it's a very good, filtered, high-level community, because there's a lot of the alternative elsewhere, just rooms that are huge that have little to no educational or community value. Like, I don't want to create that. I would rather create something that's amazing for us and then provide everything else for free for everyone else. Hopefully that makes sense. We got a couple minutes. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer that on the 990 challenge. And like I said, for me, it's those 9 habits. I'm tracking them very effectively. I'm ramping up on a lot of those things. Every single one that I mess up, I will pay $1,000 per habit, not per day, but per habit. I'll donate that to Stop Soldier Suicide, an organization that I regularly donate to and very much appreciate what they do. So any questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything else. Otherwise, we should be good to go, my friends. If you want the tools, I told you exactly how to get there. If you're in my free Wealth of Real Estate School community, I mean, I could just show you it's actually kind of insane, the stuff I just give away for free. But it's all the stuff I wish that I had, and people weren't providing that, especially not for free. So this is the Wealth of Real Estate community. We have over 1,700 members in there with little to no real marketing. It's just people are getting value and they're sharing it and all that good stuff. So there's obviously a discussion board, these live calls. People are talking about everything and anything. There's a lot of, buy and hold investors, wholesalers, lenders of all types. Everyone in my sphere, I try to recommend them to come here to take advantage of all the free value, free education and courses like the traditional investing in real estate, how to analyze and understand creative finance, buying and holding real estate, Financial Freedom Blueprint. I'm very adamant about you understanding your personal finances, your net worth, how much you're saving, how much you're spending, everything, and developing very clear, tactical financial freedom path for you based on real numbers, based on your real expenses. This is something was exclusively for super investors. I share it to everyone because I want you guys to get that value nonetheless, plus the tools and resources associated with it. My favorite active income source, which is bird dogging, something that I've done a lot, and it played a massive role in my investing journey, to very clearly and effectively find deals, get paid for it, understand, and learn from the buyers that I was working with to get them the right types of deals. And now I leverage bird dogs and get deals from them and educate them along the way as feasible. And so I have a full training in there. If you're ever asking how to bird dog for me or how you can bird dog for anyone, free whole course in there. Some co-living specific information here as well. Just to give you an example, right? Like, here's the buy box. Here's access to the data you need. So I'm focused on co-living. Here's how you submit deals. Here's what we're looking for. Here's a free calculator to analyze those deals. Here's some information on bird dogging, what it is, how to analyze those deals in detail, all that good stuff. Same with analysis, so variety of analysis. If you're just brand new into real estate, understanding real estate investing as a whole, all that good stuff. plus the forum, plus these live calls are added. We have some underwriting trainings that we provide in here as well, just free opportunities for people to come in and get deals analyzed or learn more, all that good stuff in there, all for free. Crazy, crazy. That's the stuff I literally wish people would have provided to me when I was starting out, especially as an active duty military member up in Alaska, with little to no other investors. I mean, thankfully I was in a room of 10 investors in my local market, and that played a massive difference for me, but no one had this level of free that they could provide in regards to education. Everything was behind a paywall or was done super poorly. So I said, screw it. I'll create the things I wish I had to help other people on their journey who are not ready for super investors at this moment. The goal is that eventually you become a super investor, and I hope you become financially free through buying and holding real estate and raising money, but that's not always the case. All right, cool with that. Thank you guys. If you want to get the tracker, all that, just drop the word habits. You can probably drop it on this YouTube channel. We'll find you. And definitely on that Instagram post, because then I can share the recording and the tools with you. All right, with that, thank you, and I'll see you guys next week.